Good morning, everyone out there on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. Happy Sunday morning. This is not Exodus chapter 20, verse 14, the seventh commandment, part 22. That's not this video. This video is two parts. A couple days ago, Operation Rising Lion was enacted by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on striking Iran and its nuclear facilities and key components of the scientists and some of the leadership that the Mossad, who's the greatest intelligence agency on this earth, and of course the United States, I'm not downplaying that because I'm an Army vet. I'm not downplaying that. I'm going to get into that part in a second too, about another reason why I want to do this video. They struck those facilities and they did not want to give up enriching uranium and weapons grade radioactive materials to make a nuclear bomb. And according to Benjamin Netanyahu, there was enough listen to this, enough materials for nuclear material to make nine atomic bombs. Israel's about the size of the state of New Jersey. Iran is about the size, it is twice the size of the state of Texas. They did a preemptive strike, and they were not going after civilians, they were going after this regime. They did this in 1981 with Iraq. They did it with Syria too. And I'm convinced when Hillary Clinton sold 20% of our uranium to Russia, I believe some of that went in the back door and got into Iran. And then, of course, Obama and Biden filtering billions of dollars to these devils who are making these WMDs, weapons of mass destruction. And they said death to America, death to Israel. They call us the great Satan and Israel the little Satan. And to those of you who support the Democrats, and you don't have a problem with that, and you're not going to care because it's not on your front door, your checkbook, and you're going to wait till some stinking nuclear mushroom cloud comes on your front door and vaporizes your stupid behind. I applaud Israel for what they did. And it needed to be done. And I'm glad we got Trump in office who told Iran, you harm any American serviceman, or any American for that matter, you're gonna get the red, white, and blue fist and the American boot on you. That's to you, Iran. And most important, Iran, you seem to forget Almighty God has his international policy, Genesis 12:3, about the nation of Israel and the Jewish people. And I support the IDF totally. The Israeli Defense Force and the military. I support them totally. And I back them up with prayer. And I'll say it again, as I'm bragging about myself. If I could, I'd go to Israel like that. And I would join. I'd wear a prayer shawl, eating matzah in my teeth, you name it. I would join my Jewish brothers and sisters and fight these devils. And that includes you, Hamas, in the Gaza Strip, and you, Hezbollah, in Lebanon. I'd come after you myself. You're not coming near my wife or my kids or my grandchildren or freedom or the Jewish people, Israel and the Jewish people and Americans and freedom-loving people around the world. You'll get this. I get my paws on you. That's about Israel. Here's the second part about this video. I applaud President Trump for deploying the National Guard and the U.S. Marine Corps, because Governor Newsom and Mayor, that L.A. idiot mayor, who's this communist-loving devil herself, did not take their constitutional right and police and squash that rioting by illegal aliens. by these criminals. And they're trying to say President Trump violated the 10th Amendment. I read the 10th Amendment about that states need to have autonomy to rule and manage themselves without the government over, riding roughshod over them. But you see, they weren't handling business. And they did that during the wildfires too in January. By the way, I was out there in California, not at the Palisades, but by Pasadena. I saw that garbage. And that was horrific. President Trump had every right to do what he did. And if you say otherwise, you got a problem with me. And I'm going to take it a step further too. To those of you who think it's okay about the Democrats, you better unfriend me on Facebook if you got a problem with that. I care about freedom in this country. Not some political party caring about power and money and importing votes. That's what this is all about. Because the Democrats know the Americans are fed up with them. And especially what I just said earlier about what they're funneling, applauding about what's going on with Iran and these idiot scumbuckets on these colleges being useful idiots to terrorism. You need to be deported. Every one of you rat chokers. And to those of you saying, oh, what about the people coming across the border needing help? They broke the... There is laws in place to help these people. And I get they're trying to better them, but you go back and they kind of front everybody else who's trying to help them, better themselves too. How dare you? And I'm an Hispanic. I'm a Puerto Rican German kid who's married to a Mexican Polish woman. I will say that. I will defend the red, white, and blue. Period. I'm a vet and my contract's never up. Ever. Until I get my 21 gun salute. I'm telling you right now. And to that idiot, Pedro David, that knucklehead who posted that thing on Facebook about calling the American soldier the most gullible idiot, I said, you are a devil, and you know who you are out there in Vegas. You know who you are. I'm not going to call your name out. I'm not going to, you know what? I'm going to call you now. Pedro David, you're dead wrong for saying what you did. How dare you? Military defends people like you, too. And you slapped me in the face, and then my boy Tristan Mumford, I applaud you, Tristan Mumford, for calling that out. I should have came out even more both barrels. You don't say that about the military. You don't say that about we got a government now with righteous people and how the Constitution, how it's set in place by our founding fathers. But you especially don't knock the military. You knock the military, you got a problem with me. And I back down from no one on that. And I mean no one. You got a problem with that. You look me dead in my eye. You look me right in my eyes and you tell me that garbage. And if especially burning the American flag, anybody out there, Lord help it, I will bounce you like a stinking basketball. And you need to sit in jail. And the ones who are attacking the National Guard and the LAPD, Governor Newsom and that LA mayor, you need to sit in jail, San Quentin prison, in the holding area next to the death chamber. That gas chamber, Governor Newsom, disassemble. You dropped the ball. You're incompetent, and you're doing dereliction of duty. Biden did dereliction of duty. He needs to take the eternal walk. And all you demon rat cat, Tim Walz, you're a scumbag over there in Minnesota. You don't want to see me. I will verbally nuke your socialist brains. Letitia James in New York, my former home state in New York, you don't want to meet me. You don't want to meet me. I think you put too much chemical relaxant in your stinking hair, made your brains leach out and vaporized your brains. You don't want to meet me. You need to sit in prison. Fannie Willis in Fulton County, Georgia, you're another black-haired, brown-eyed she-devil. And to the American populace, you back up our troops. You stand, we the people, by the people, we the people, by the people, for the people. And don't you ever forget it. You don't wait till this junk comes to your front door or hits your checkbook, and then all of a sudden you're going to care and have this thing of indifference. You're going to have a problem with me. And I'll say this to anybody, anywhere, anytime, any place. I'll look you dead in your face and tell you that. And I have done it. And I will do it. You don't say that. And to these people across the country, in churches, we need to pray for President Trump, who's had death threats from Iran. And I'm convinced he was protected because he blessed the nation of Israel and the Jewish people. I am so, and moved the U.S. Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. I am convinced of that. I'm convinced he blessed Israel, and Almighty God spared his life, not once, but twice, of assassination attempts, and that kangaroo court, and that scum McCom, Judge McCom. You don't want to meet me, you cue ball devil. How dare you? And to you people from Kosko, Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, you she-devils on these talk shows, you don't want to meet me and that idiot audience. You don't want to meet me. I will verbally nuke your brains. And I applaud Judge Janine Pirro for calling things out and saying it as it needs to be said. And to you spineless ones, you don't like it, piss on you. That's what I have to say about these riots, and we squash. And I applaud Pam Bondi for what she's doing, and the new director of the FBI. I back them up, and I especially back Israel up, and we need to be in prayer from coast to coast, and Almighty God puts his divine iron dome on the nation of Israel and the Jewish people, who's fighting not only for their survival, but they're fighting for Western civilization too. And you people need to be grateful to the Jewish people, because if it wasn't for the Jewish contributions to what this book says, we'd have no Christianity. And you better get that right. You have a great day. Enjoy the weekend. Catch you sometime this week on Exodus chapter 20, verse 14, the 7th commandment, part 22.